Hey guys, what's up? It's Samantha, and it has been a hot second. I can't believe it's been over 2 years since I've filmed anything, let alone done a voiceover for a plan with me. So, this is going to be a little different than my normal videos. I wanted to give you guys kind of an update about where I've been. And what you're watching here is actually not a memory keeping spread. It is me setting up the base for my upcoming week in my planner that I'm going to plan for myself. I haven't touched a planner since like when the last time I posted a video was. So that was March, April of 2023. So over 2 years ago, I basically left off by announcing that I was pregnant, and then I fell off the face of the earth. So I had a really, really difficult pregnancy. I was super sick. I had um, hyperemesis, which basically meant I threw up a lot, a lot every single day for my entire pregnancy. And I also struggled with chronic migraines. So I basically was in bed with the blinds closed and the lights off for my entire pregnancy. And then towards the end, in my third trimester, I developed cholestasis. And so that is basically a thing where your liver starts dumping bile salts into your blood and it makes you so incredibly itchy. I actually have scars on my legs that I think I'll have for the rest of my life from how badly I was scratching myself in my sleep. And it was awful. And there's also some complications that can happen if you go past 37 weeks. So I was induced at 37 weeks, and actually my induction and my labor and delivery was really easy. It was the easiest part of the whole pregnancy. I feel very blessed that after a very difficult, uncomfortable, very painful pregnancy, I had a very easy breezy labor and delivery. My son, James, was born in August of 2023, and he is like just absolutely adorable. He's almost 2 now, which is wild to say. He's definitely full toddler. And I love being his mom. I am a stay-at-home mom right now, and I really love staying at home with him. However, I feel like I kind of got, I don't know if behind, if that's like the right way to phrase that, but being so sick my whole pregnancy, basically everything that wasn't like a necessity to keeping myself and then like James alive went out the window. Like I could not read. I couldn't turn on lights. I couldn't sit to plan. I couldn't do anything that brought me joy. And then after I had James, I did end up exclusively pumping for 9 months, which I have described as the world's crappiest hobby. I don't know that I would ever recommend that anyone exclusively pump. It was really, really difficult, and I had a crazy oversupply, which on paper sounds like great, but it was very painful. And that was why I weaned at 9 months and not 12 months, because I physically like couldn't deal with the clogs and the mastitis anymore. And it took me forever to wean. So very glad I stopped when I did. My son had CMPA, which is the only reason why I breastfed as long as I did, given like how much I disliked exclusively pumping, but he couldn't have like standard formula. And so I waited until he didn't react to milk anymore. And thankfully around like 7-ish months, he stopped. Like I trialed eating dairy. So I was also eating dairy free that whole time, which was also extra stressful because you like can't just go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger if you're eating dairy free. Like if you're stressed and you want like a quick bite to eat. So I had to prepare all my own food at home. Like there's dairy in everything. But I trialed dairy around 7 months and he didn't react. And so we started trying, I had a huge freezer stash, but not quite enough to get us to a year. So we like trialed some formulas, and we got one that he would drink, and I was able to wean, and I was like, great, I'm gonna get so much time back now that I'm not spending 2+ hours a day attached to a pump, and I'm not bagging all this milk and doing all this stuff, and like, ha ha ha. That like didn't happen. There's like a lot of stuff that I'm not gonna like get into the details about, but James needed like some PT and feeding therapy. He had like a really aggressive gag reflex starting solids. But like everything's totally fine now. But like that took up a ton of time. And then it was basically like trying to play catch up. So if like even taking it back farther, I got pregnant right after we moved into this house. So like we had multiple rooms that basically weren't furnished. Our basement was a dumping ground of just like everything that didn't have a home. And we have like a finished basement, and it was not being used as a livable space. It was just a total dumpster fire. I like hadn't been taking care of myself. Everything was so out of control. I had like no routines established. Like in every other place I've lived, within a few months, I've gotten like a good routine down for cleaning. But like when we moved in, we didn't have any furniture. And I got pregnant so quickly after we moved in that it was like, what way is up? Everything is dirty. I don't know. Like there's no routines or habits or patterns of like how to live life normally for me in this house. Cause like I've never lived life normally in this house. Which like that is definitely like a blessing kind of problem to have. Like I feel very fortunate that we got into our house and that I have like a beautiful, healthy kid and all of that. But like also it was still an adjustment of figuring out how to manage all of this and how to manage like making food for a kid 6 times a day and like all this stuff. So I have been working really hard, like especially over the last 6 months, I would say. I have like been really intentional, maybe even like longer than that, about developing routines that work for my brain and for my space. So like I am completely reliant on my reminders app. I can't remember anything these days. So I have like daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly reminders for basically anything, like filters that have to be changed, things that need to be cleaned on like different schedules, all of that kind of stuff. I like maintenance things. I have everything as a recurring reminder in my phone. And then anytime I think of something, I can like dictate it to my Apple Watch or to my phone and add something on. Like if I need to remember I'm in the middle of a diaper change and I realize it's the last diaper and I need to go grab more diapers to bring downstairs, like from James's closet upstairs, I will put that as a reminder because my brain is just like a colander. Like everything just drains out of it these days. It's so bad. But part of that has been trying, like the big picture stuff has been trying to remove the noise from my brain so that I can turn my like thoughts and attention back to things that I love. Because I am someone who really struggles to focus on books or planning or doing anything if my brain is going a million miles an hour. And I really was having, I still am, like it's gotten better, but it's like everything, like my environment around me, internally, like everything was just so much noise, if that makes sense. And so I've really focused, like since the beginning of the year, especially on creating these like routines and systems to eliminate the noise. That way I have the mental space. And I feel like in the last couple weeks, I've really started to see payoff. And during this time, I've also tackled some really big projects. So for example, if you follow me on Instagram, this past week, my husband was on vacation, and so he was off. So he was able to like hang out with James during the day, and I was able to take like 3 full days and uh my office had turned into a dumping ground, and all of the new planning supplies, I basically haven't bought anything except for some washi and my Scribble Prints Co. subscription kit that I never canceled. I haven't bought planner supplies in like a year, maybe a little over a year. And despite that, I had everything from when I was pregnant on that had like ordered because I was delusional. So after I gave birth, I was like, I'm going to jump right back into planning. So I kept buying stuff for like another 9 months. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. I have to stop buying. And I had not put anything away. It was an overwhelming amount of stuff. And then I had a packing box that had literally overflown of stuff I wanted to de-stash. There were like just so much planner stuff, and I was ruthless. I went through this room. I went through everything. I de-stashed. I did a giveaway on Instagram. I gave away like 30 plus kits. I gave away like accidental duplicates of washi that I had purchased. I was just like, it all has to go. And then I went through and like all of the like stuff that was trash, stickers that weren't sticky anymore. I was like really, really ruthless, and I threw out so much stuff. I gave away so much stuff. I put away everything. I can't tell you how many garbage bags went out of this room. And I had like donations, like other house stuff. There were like random lamps sitting on the floor in here. It was, clothing that I had that like doesn't fit me anymore postpartum, that I knew that even if I like lose the weight, I would never wear those items of clothing again. And just, it was literally just to become a dumping ground. And it felt like even if I wanted to, during James's nap, even if I wanted to come in here and film a plan with me, I couldn't even get to my desk, let alone find my planning supplies. It was just so messy. There was just there were papers piled everywhere, like tax documents from when I did our taxes. And just, I am like normally not that person. And this room had kind of just become symbolic of my internal state over the last couple of years. And now it's all fresh and clean and everything's put away and it's a usable space again. And I don't have to like tunnel through 2 feet of debris on the floor of this room and like push boxes aside just to even get to my office chair. And it was really freeing, and I'm super glad that I got that time this week. I'm like really appreciative that Joe like took James for like the entire day for 3 days. That way I could like just crank through. And I went through my library. I haven't been reading like nearly, like I've maybe been reading like a quarter of what I used to read. And I have not been paying attention to like new releases and what's coming up and trends and all of that. And I went through my Goodreads. I deleted like hundreds of books. I sort of just like had this reckoning of like, I have to let some of this stuff go. I don't have like the time or the energy to like read like mediocre books from the last 2 years. And I was really ruthless clearing out my TBR. And then I went through my library and anything that I had pre-ordered, like a copy of, and I had taken it off my TBR. I donated those books to my local library. I cleared out probably like at least 70 books. I didn't count them all, but it was a lot of books, like 70, 80 books. And I just accepted like either this isn't something I'm interested in reading anymore. Like I bought this 4 or 5 years ago. I haven't read it yet. I'm probably never going to read it. I have much more limited time these days, and I'd rather focus it on things that I think I'm going to love. So just kind of acknowledging that like I have changed, my interests have changed. Obviously I'm still interested in reading, but the kinds of books I want to read have changed. And like, I used to be, when I was reading 240 books a year, I was okay with reading more like 3-star books just because I was reading widely. And for my job, it was important for me to have a wide variety of books to recommend, because something that might be a 3-star for me could be a 5-star for someone else. And so even when I was reading books that were like 1, 2, 3 stars, I wasn't upset about it because it gave me like a bigger data set to recommend different books to people. But right now, I'm mostly just reading for myself. And that's like a total paradigm shift for me in how I'm reading. And it felt really good to just like embrace that. I've had sort of this like, in planning and reading, this roadblock that I felt like I had this mentality that I needed to like catch up before I could like keep going. And I feel like this week has been about kind of just confronting that and saying like, I'm not going to catch up. I missed 2 years of planner spreads, more than 2 years. I missed like 2.5 years of new book releases. And maybe there's a few I want to go back and read, but like, I'm not going to have read 200 books that were released in 2023 or 2024. And like, that's okay. I can just move forward and see like what's coming down the line in 2025 and focus on that. And just sort of letting go of the past instead of feeling like I needed to complete all of these very overdue tasks to be able to move forward. Just saying, nope, we're not going to do those. We're taking those things off the to-do list, like the mental, emotional to-do list, and we are going to just move forward and start where we are and like be honest about what we have the time and capacity for. Me. I don't need to speak in the royal we, but just being honest with myself. And I feel so much lighter. And like, it was so great today. James went down for his nap and I came in here and I was able to just film a plan with me and put everything away. And I knew where everything was. And then I was able to just turn my chair to the side and start moving files off my SD card and edit this and do the voiceover. And I didn't have to like dig through piles, and it just feels really good. I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of coming back to myself. Obviously, like I am different than I was, but also I feel like I was just so bogged down in like these life adjustments over the last few years. And now it kind of feels in a weird way like coming home, like I get to rediscover who I am, but also like I get to go back and like all these things were waiting for me when I was ready, and I'm ready now. And it was really nice to just see like what aspects of these things I can reintegrate into my life. And I didn't even know for the longest time if I would still like planning. And I did like a spread before I cleaned up my room. I like basically just pulled a kit off of the pile of stuff that was sitting on my IKEA cart by the door where I had dumped like all of the kits, anything that came in the mail. I was just dumping my Happy Mail, and I did just like a base spread to see like, do I even like doing this? Or the whole time I'm doing it, am I just thinking like, ugh, I want this to be done? But no, I had a really good time. Like Andrea had DM'd me and was like, because I'd said something like, oh my gosh, I haven't touched a planner in years. Like on one of her things. And she's like, you have to get back to it. Like, do it. And I did it. And I was like, this is still really fun. Like, I missed this and I want to do it again. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 spreads, how I'm going to handle YouTube videos. Like, I haven't figured that out, but I did want to just like pop in, like show up, say hi, let you guys know, what's going on, what happened to me, that I do plan on coming back, that I missed you guys, that I missed this part of my life. And like, now that life feels more stable, I like kind of was able to evaluate and say like, yeah, I do want to do this. I do want to come back. I do want to make content around planning again. And I missed it deeply. And I miss this community. And I know it's going to look different than it did a few years ago. I like have been so out of the loop. I literally have no idea what's been going on. But I'm back, and I am just really excited to do this like for myself and to make this space for myself after, a long, long time away. So, if you want to like leave a comment, let me know like what you think is going on in the planning community, what the trends are, like what people are doing, so I can check out like new stuff, like whatever's going on. I've seen a lot of like book journaling, and I'm curious about that. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I have missed you so much. I've missed being here so much. So I'm excited to be back, and hopefully it will not be more than 2 years before I make my next video. So I'll talk to you in the next one, guys. Bye.